Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait. I watched episode 1 last night, and today I was like, I'll wait a couple days, and I was like, well, maybe I should record ahead, and I was like, I should record ahead. So, as I'm recording this, yeah, I can't help it. How would you not wait? Kenny! Oh my gosh, I'm just floored that we've started out this season with this new character, this new group of mercenary-like figures. It's like a Western shootout. Nifa's dead. The guy with the glasses is dead. Pastor Nick's dead. I was editing the recap video, and there was a part where I was saying about Pastor Nick and their character rankings, where I was like, man, I don't know if Pastor Nick is gonna go up to B rank or maybe drop down to D rank. Well, he dropped down to D rank because he's dead. He's so dead. No. Oh man. I am so on board with this season already, and I have a feeling it's a good thing I've decided to record ahead because it's just going to be one of those seasons where I feel like stuff's going to go down. So much happened in the last episode. So much. I think I talked like an hour and 17 minutes about it. So much happened. Someone joked, they're like, your discussions by season 4 are going to be like 3 hours long. I'm like, don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you do that. The recap's just going to be a nightmare for this season already. I can tell. I just don't know what we're going to do about Kenny. Like, I'm assuming Kenny is working for the government. He's working for old King Fritz and his men, or working for Lord Reese or somebody. Maybe not King Fritz specifically, but working for one of those 4 guys that are in his council, and they've been tasked with getting Eren and Historia. I don't know what we're doing this. I'm assuming this episode we're going to focus on Levi and Kenny, getting their backstory, and doing the main thing with Levi and Kenny, and then the rest of the Levi squad. The rest of the Levi squad, you know? The rest of them. I assume that's what this is going to be about. And then we'll probably get back to Moblet and Hanji later, and Erwin later, and Bertolt and Reiner. Maybe we won't even see him this season. You know, we didn't see Annie all last season, but it's a longer season. This season's 22 episodes? Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 is 12 episodes, and Part 2 is 10 episodes. So it's 22 episodes. So it's about, almost twice the length of season 2 and just under season 1. So, what can we do? But yeah, the only thing I wasn't sure about, and I rewatched the ending of the last episode, was I'm not sure if Levi got nicked. For a second, it looked like that canister nicked him on the side, but I don't know, because then in another shot, there wasn't any blood. So I don't know if that was just a blood splatter that went by him, or if he actually got hit in the side. If he got hit again, I'm like, his leg's already still not fully 100% better. So I don't know, but Kenny, holy crap. I don't know what to think about his character at all, other than they sound kind of like Sasha's group, you know? They sound kind of like Sasha's group. The way he talked, because at the end he was like, Yahoo! And like all that, like sound like Mario. They sounded kind of like they had an accent sort of like Sasha's group, like they're from the Deep South. So I don't know what that means. If they're from the same kind of area, that would be kind of interesting if Sasha knew about Kenny. That would be interesting. But I don't know. He looked a lot, if it's the same guy in the OP as it is now, he's aged a lot. Age has not been, but Levi's also in his 30s. And in the OP, he looked like he was maybe 10. So it's been 20. That would be 20 years. That's a significant amount of time. That's a long amount of time. So you could age a lot in that, especially if he was already 30 and now he's in his 50s. You could age a lot in that time. So yeah. I didn't know at all what to expect in the last episode, and I was completely surprised throughout it. I have no clue what to expect in this episode, and so I'm prepared to be completely surprised throughout it. So this show ain't wasting no time. Isayama ain't playing no games. So let's do this, shall we? It's called Pain. This episode's called Pain. I don't know how I feel about that. Just to forewarn y'all, I have a stuffy nose. It's literally the only thing wrong with me is that my nose has been running all day like a damn faucet, and it's stuffy. That's it. Everything else I'm fine. So if I'm like sniffly, that's why. I'm like, it's that time of year. So yeah. Oh, buddy. So let's do this, shall we? We're gonna dive right into this episode and see what happens. So we're going to start episode 2 of season 3, Attack on Titan. Technically episode 39. And we're going to start that here in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Watching 2 episodes back to back is too much. It's too much. It's too much. Holy shit. I'm honestly glad. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I love each and every one of you, but I'm honestly glad I watched this ahead because I had no clue what I was about to step into. This season so far, I know we're only 2 episodes in, but it has exceeded any expectation I had so far. I was on the edge of my seat. I'm sure my jaw was on the floor the entire time. What the hell? The weird pianist commented back, I think it was around episode 8 of season 2. They were like, oh yeah, you'll probably like the first half of season 3. It's, it starts out slow, but then it picks up the pace. What the hell does that mean? Are you saying that this is slow for this season? Is that what you're saying? Because if it is, y'all, I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna be in a puddle. I'm gonna crawl out. I'm gonna fall out of this chair. What was this episode? I wasn't ready. No, and I know what y'all are saying. You're like, oh, she's not ready for this. No, you're right. Wasn't ready. No. I thought this whole episode was gonna be like Kenny and Levi backstory, and we got like a millisecond of it, like a glimpse of it. But Kenny is going to be here for the long haul of this season, isn't he? He's going to be our long-running antagonist of this season. In addition to all the other antagonists we have. Well, hell, this episode was so heavy and so insane, and there's so much to think about. I'm going to have to take some time off after this episode to think about a lot of this, because there was a lot with this episode. Oh my God. And we've got to go through it. Buckle in, y'all. There's no way these discussions are going under an hour. I don't know how they can. There's so much to talk about. I thought John was dead for a second, and I was going to be really, really upset, but thank God he wasn't. Although we got to get that one dude's name down because he did bite the dust. We don't have confirmation the son's dead, but the dad bit the dust, so we got to write him down. And okay, so that is, I've talked about this in the recap in the other episodes. So that's it. So the thing is, if you're a Titan shifter, like we established this back in episode 12, I think, either episode 11 or 12, that if you eat a Titan shifter, you gain their power, right? So the idea that Eren has the coordinate, he ate the coordinate from someone. The hell? He ate it somewhere, so what's the deal? But now, when Hanji said Eren's gonna get eaten, they're gonna feed him to a Titan, or somebody that's been turned into a Titan. They're gonna feed him to them and give the power. So, are they gonna try to turn Historia into a Titan and have her eat Eren? Or I don't know. The fact that they have Eren and Historia is mind blowing. I didn't think they'd get there. I didn't think that would happen. I thought they'd rescue them, but they didn't. And, okay, so Levi Ackerman, and it's Mikasa Ackerman, right? Isn't that it? Didn't they say that back in season 1 that her name was Mikasa Ackerman? Didn't they? Because I remember commenting way back in season 1, and a lot of you were trying to dissuade me from that. I was like, the only thing I knew about Attack on Titan going into this entire series was the name Eren Yeager and Levi Ackerman. Those are the only 2 things that I knew going into the season. I knew those 2 names, and that was it. And when I started watching the season, y'all were like, oh, Levi's name's not important. you tricksters. I don't know the significance of the name Ackerman, but Mikasa and him share a name. So are they somewhat like distantly related, perhaps? I mean, they could, you see people with the same last name and they're not related. It could be like John Smith and Erwin Smith. They could not be related, but it's this show. So, I mean, come on. They are likely related. So I'm going to be sipping that tea for most of this so my voice doesn't go out. But, oh my God, this episode was, this may be one of my favorite episodes of the series already. This may be up in the top 5. Just the action, the choreography, what was that chase scene? I couldn't keep up with it. This studio, damn it, they were like, we're going all in. Chips are on the table, we're going all in. This is our last season we're going to do the best that we can. This episode was amazing. Holy crap. So this Kenny guy, he is so intriguing. I'm curious, what is Kenny's dream? Kenny has a dream. Oh, he has a dream. Kenny's dream. I don't know if Kenny's dream is to kill Levi or to have Levi join forces with him. He has some kind of dream, and Levi just throwing the sword right at him. Like, Levi knows this guy is not to be messed with. That when Levi gets serious, and him just saying kaboom, Jesus. Yeah, and Levi, when Levi is concerned, that is when, you know, and this animation, the lighting on his hair, the animation of this, oh my God, this scene was so beautiful. I can't praise it enough. It's not possible. Y'all know. Oh, I'll probably, if I go back and rewatch an action scene from this series, this is going to be one of them. Shit. God, this is amazing. So, we got a lot. We got so much in this. I got to skip through the OP. The ED, I love the ED. The ED is great. I like that. We got a lot of focus on Eren and Ymir in this season, which, granted, they're the vessel and the power, right? Okay, this is also like, again, I swear, I tell y'all, my mind's not in the gutter, but I'm just thinking about this, okay? Are they gonna, like, talk about Titan babies, are they gonna try to, like, get Eren and Historia to, like, hook up? Is that, like, the power in the vessel sort of thing? Are they gonna, like, get Eren and Historia to, like, hook up? Or are they gonna have Historia try to eat Eren? I don't know. I'm just thinking of all these scenarios, why they obviously kidnapped Eren so they could take the coordinate power back. But, again, I don't know why. So, keeping the peace. And then they, of course, and Eren was going to pick up the gun. He reached for the gun, but they got Historia and him first. Damn. Man, dang it. I hate it. And then, Levi just taking him out, that guy. And then that girl. Oh, no, the girl took the squad member out. So, the 3 squad members died. So, we'll have to put down, damn it, episode 2. Hanji's other squad guy. I don't know his name yet. Y'all have to tell me. But, damn. So, I can't believe they got away with it. So, the military police has been paying, they paid off Kenny's group to go. But it was specifically Lord Reese paid off Kenny's group. So, Lord Reese is, I guess, not above getting amateur, which they don't seem amateur. They got the crazy gear, which I'm on Crunchyroll now, so maybe they'll explain it in more detail. They got the crazy gear, the ODM modified gear. So clearly Lord Reese hired these mercenaries to go get Historia and Eren. But God, this animation. And Levi using the members of the Kenny squad, or the Kenny, I guess we got Levi squad and Kenny squad. Using members of the Kenny squad as like anchors. Oh, man, we'll talk about Levi and Hanji. And then, of course, our Levi squad. And they predicted our movements. Damn. Oh, this animation, what the hell? It was such a callback to No Regrets. This whole thing has been a huge callback to No Regrets. And getting into Levi's backstory. So the idea that Kenny trained him. Because back in No Regrets, I was like, wow, these kids, Levi was younger then. They got this ODM gear and they learned how to maneuver it around town. But Levi seems like he knew really how to use it. So it said he was self-taught, but Kenny taught him. So was Kenny a scout member or a cadet that got kicked out? And so he just went rogue? We don't know that yet. We don't know Kenny's backstory. Or if he just got stuff from the slums and somebody taught him and he's just perpetuating the cycle. My question would be, when did Kenny and Levi split up? Because Levi was with Farland and Isabel. So him and Farland seemed like they'd been together for at least a little while. So he must have split from Kenny for a bit. I can't imagine why. Kenny seems a little bit unlike Levi in terms of his personality and moral ethics. But oh my God, was he doing in the military police? And I don't really think he's in the military police. He's just working rogue for them. Okay. We got this flashback, right? And so it showed Kenny in the suit. And we got a flashback. I want to pause it. It's like for 2 seconds. Like they don't even show us. So, okay, there's somebody in a bed. And there's Kenny with the trench coat on. And he's got a suitcase, like from the OP. And his trench coat is covered in blood. With the briefcase. So was he like a doctor? Was Kenny like a doctor? Because he has the blood on us, or was he assigned to come kill whoever's in the bed? And then we get the briefest of flashes. And that looks like, Oh, and Levi, he is like doesn't even look human. He's so sunken in. Because I'm assuming that's Levi. It's like the hair and everything. Like those eyes and everything. He looks just like on the verge of death. Oh my God. It's like, well, no wonder he didn't get any taller. He was so like malnourished as a kid. He probably just didn't ever grow any taller, you know? Interesting. So interesting. Huh. I'm so curious. I'm so curious. But yeah, so we just get that brief flash. So obviously it's assumed that maybe Kenny felt sorry for Levi and took him under his wing and just kept him. And then eventually they parted ways. This animation, I like pause it over and over again. And it's still like every single studio. I can't give you enough praise. This whole sequence is amazing. It's godly. We're not worthy. But he got hit in the eye. He got hit in the eye. And luckily he didn't lose an eye. For a second I thought he was going to lose an eye. And I can't even describe it. And then he goes into the bar and hits the end of the bar stool. And I love that everybody's like, it felt kind of like One Piece when Luffy enters the bar to get food, only the context is totally wrong. But this poor little bartender that's shaking his hands like, oh God, it's Levi of the Scouts. This bartender is MVP of this episode. This bartender is freaking MVP because he tilted the glass so that Levi could see Kenny. He tilted the glass so he could see him in the reflection so he could get a shot. Bartender, I hope you're on the character tier. I hope that bartender's on the character tier. He will be A rank if he is. I don't know. When it gets to that point, when I get to the end of season 3, I'm going to find a season 3 character tier, and that bartender had better damn be on it. I'm going to find one with him on it because I want to put him in A rank. Yeah, so he's like, I love that he like wipes the blood out of his eye so he can see. And like, oh, I love that he's just like, eh. But here's the thing. It's the funniest darn thing that Kenny calls him a rat. Because Levi is like the most anal person we know. Right? He's the most like neat. Which what makes you wonder if the reason Levi is like that is because of like the poor conditions he grew up in and how nasty it might have been. And that's what's made him be like so hypercritical on his hygiene and everything. Interesting. But yeah, I smell filthy rat coming from this bar. Yeah, and then Kenny. And Kenny's used up most of his gear at this point. Found ya. He's like a damn Western villain. I love it. The law has come to exterminate the vermin. And he acts like the, if this was like a shoujo, he'd be like the off-putting, awkward, weird dad is what he would be like. That's what he'd be. If this was like a shoujo, he'd be like the weird, funny dad comedy character. But no, he's actually terrifying. I don't think I sausage just falls off the fork. And then when he said he wasn't here, Levi says, I'm right here, Kenny. It's been a while. I'm really impressed that Levi, which it goes with Levi's character, that he would admit that he was there because he doesn't want anybody getting hurt. And then he's like, what happened to slaughtering the military police? Now you're one of them. And then adults do plenty of things that kids like you can't understand. But it's like, Levi's not a kid anymore, though. He's like, oops, my bad. Yeah. You're just so tiny, it's hard to believe you're older now. But he knows how Levi was when he found him. So him calling him tiny, I'm sure he knows the circumstances, right? So that's so fascinating. I've been looking forward to seeing you in action. And all the tricks that he taught him. Yeah. Oh, man. I want to get into their backstory so bad. So bad. And I know maybe we'll get to it. I really thought we were going to get to it this episode. Again, so many callbacks to Smile. So many callbacks to Smile and Mercy. The idea that just like the Survey Corps had Annie cornered in at the edge of the tunnel, the Kenny squad has, which it looks like there's 5 members left. The Kenny squad have Levi cornered, which there were others chasing after the wagon, so there's probably more than 5. And then I like that he has a chair and he throws it. And I like that Levi doesn't move, like it doesn't even affect him. There's got to be a reason you became a scout, and I think I know what it is. And it's interesting. So apparently they're both from the garbage dump. They're both from somewhere in Cena, under Cena, interestingly enough. It sounds like they're from somewhere under Cena because it said the garbage dump, which sounds like that place. He's like, we had no choice but to survive and to go all we had each day to keep living. So, yeah. And when we found out how big the world really was, it hurt like hell. So again, that goes back to no regrets. Levi realizing just how big things are. It's their little world, their bubble inside the underground city. Once they got to the surface, the world opened up, and so did everything else with it. So it's a nice callback to no regrets. But yeah, oh my God. And then saying, but something saved us. Yeah, we found something we wanted to do. It's that. See, this is where it's a little bit different. Kenny says we found something we wanted to do. It's that simple. But for Kenny, this job might be the thing that saved him. But for Levi, what saved him was Farland and Isabel. What saved him were his friends. And then when they died, he didn't know what to do. And so Erwin's like, we'll avenge them. We'll get revenge on the Titans. We'll take revenge on them by killing the Titans. That's what you can do. And so he just followed that. So that was kind of his saving grace. And then Kenny calling it a hobby, saying that it's simple, but the truth is the only thing that made our lives fulfilling was finding hobbies. It's like for Levi, it's not really a hobby. It's his life. And so it's like how much is Kenny underplaying the whole situation, or is what Kenny has found, is that different than what Levi's found? Interesting. And then, oh my God, I love it. I love it. The bartender just tilting the bottle ever so slightly. Oh, Yep, I love it. Or maybe it was Levi that tilted the bottle. I don't know. I don't think it was Levi. No, I guess it was Levi. Damn, him. Oh God, him with the gun. That was so badass. I can't. I just love it so much. And I guess he has the captain. Yeah, no, it was the old man. And so I like the confirmation that the reason why the old man had the gun was for self-defense. That bar owners can have because they make a lot of money. So it's for that reason. That's a nice little bit of world building that ties in and makes sense in the story. God, and Levi using the man as a meat shield to like take the shots and everything. He's like, screw it. We're done. So here's our conflict. Our conflict is that our poor cadets have been conditioned to fighting Titans, and they were trained with the knives to fight against people, but they probably never thought they'd have to do this. They probably thought they were just gonna, by joining the Survey Corps, they'd never have to fight humans. They'd always fight Titans. Because if you're in the military police, yeah, you might have to break up scuffles, or as oh hell, DeGel points out, as Sonis points out, yeah, they do more than break up scuffles. They kill people on behalf of the government. So there's that. So the funny thing is, if any of these guys had actually gone into the military police and moved up the ranks, they probably would have had to kill someone. And then they would have ran into the same crises. So we'll talk about that. That's really interesting. We'll talk about that. But I really want Armin to talk to Erwin so badly. I want him to talk to Erwin so badly, but we're not there yet. So yeah, but our poor cadets, they just don't understand that fighting the Titans, that's been up until now our big battle. Not this season so far, it's fighting humans. Which, if you think about it, we've been fighting humans all along. They've just looked a little different. So really, if you put it in that, I'm surprised that Levi didn't put it in that perspective for Armin. Be like, well, you've been fighting humans since day one. But this was Armin's first kill. So we need to talk about that. So Mikasa said she relayed the captain's orders and was like, look, we're not fighting just Titans anymore. The message was we'll be fighting humans too and not just Titans. And Armin and Jean have had the most trouble with this because there is the moral dilemma of you're trying to save mankind, but now you're going to fight against them. So, and old Niall and Erwin. I want to know Niall and Erwin's history too. I want to know Niall and Erwin's history. I want to know what they talked about. Erwin the gambler. Oh, I love it. I like this female character, the one in the Kenny squad, the blonde woman that seems to be Kenny's right-hand woman. I like her. She's really pretty, and I'm very, very curious to know who she is and like what her whole connection all of this is. Very, very curious, but I like her design. She's really, really pretty. For a runt, he's sure grown up. And she's like, it's wonderful. And he's like hell it is. My dream is getting further and further away. So we still don't know what Kenny's dream is. I'm curious. But yeah, there's the cart with them in it. And the hesitation. You could argue that Jean's hesitation allowed them to get away. Because John hesitated and then Armin had to make the shot, but it was still buying a lot of time. And then Levi's just like, get him out of the way. And Mikasa looks grim about it, but she doesn't look like it bothers her too much. But Jean is bothered because Jean has a big heart. And Jean is compassionate. And this is just like season 1, that moral dilemma of what do we do? You know, and Mikasa's like, okay, I'll chase the wagon. They're used to fighting other people, and they've got 3 of ours. And I would think at that point, they've already killed 3 of your members. That's something. We can't hesitate. Yeah, and Levi's saying, you've got to kill him if you get the chance. And Mikasa's like, yep, got it. And Jean's like, how can you be so casual? And of course, Mikasa's like, gotta rescue Eren, so gonna do it. Ah, damn it. We'll cover you. Secure the wagon. Yeah. And so you gave it to the 2 guys that should be the most qualified, but are the least prepared. But this is the test, right? This is the test to see if Armin and Jean could be leaders. And Jean hesitated, just like me. But here's the thing. Mikasa hesitated with Bertolt and Reiner back in episode 6 of season 2 in Warrior. Mikasa hesitated. And because of that, Eren got kidnapped. And so Mikasa made a promise. She's like, I won't hesitate again. So even though Mikasa doesn't like the idea of killing these guys because they're human, she's like, I can't hesitate. I know I can't. I really wish that Levi would have just sent Mikasa into the fray to get the wagon. I wish he would have done that. But hindsight, man. But then Jean, she takes the gun attached to her arm. That's really cool. She takes the gun attached to her arm and swipes his sword away. And she's going to blow his head off. She was gonna, but here's the thing. He saw in her face that she looked hesitant, that she didn't want to do it. I don't think Kenny would have faltered. I think Kenny and the blonde would have killed him on sight. Both of them would have. But this girl faltered for a second, and that's why Jean couldn't make the shot, because he saw the hesitance in her eyes, just like Mikasa saw it in Bertolt and Reiner. So there's that parallel there. That's really good. And then Mikasa goes to get him, but Armin's the one to shoot him. And I thought for a second that Jean died because Armin was crying, and I was like, show, don't you dare. Don't you dare. But it wasn't. It was that Armin made the shot. And then we cut to the intermission. So, information available for public disclosure. Like, that's what we got here. Anti-personal omnidirectional mobility gear. So it's like APODM. Anti-personnel. APODM. Is that what we're calling it? We're just going to call it APODM. It says, this device was developed not to exterminate Titans, but to directly counter ODM gear for use in fighting other humans. With speed exceeding human perception and allowing one to attack from blind spots, the device exhibits tremendous dominance in cities and forests. So, yeah, here's the thing. And I didn't think about this in the last episode, but those magazine shells are not going to do shit against the Titans. They're not going to hurt a Titan. It's just going to go poof and pop off them, right? It might make a dent, it might blow a hole in them, but it's not going to kill them, not like the swords will. So this gear is mainly, it's literally illegal materials designed to kill humans. Great. And all this time, the military police has been funneling resources under the black market for people like Kenny to use to do all this stuff for the government. Oh, the government conspiracy, it's all there. It's all there. From season 1, I was like, it's all a government conspiracy, and I had my tinfoil hat on, and none of you doubted me, but none of you were saying anything about it, and I should have known that the silence then was telling. But it's all a government conspiracy. We'll talk about that when we get back to old King Fritz. But yeah. So yeah, interesting. Speaking of which, there's so much that happened in this episode. I was like, so when are we getting to what? And so Capital Mitras. Capital Mitras is where old King Fritz is, interestingly enough. We're not even halfway through the episode. What the hell? So much happened. So how disappointing that nothing came of Erwin. We still don't know the location of Eren Yeager and Historia. So them trying to get freezing scout activity. So them trying to get Erwin to talk. Erwin, I'm like, do y'all know how tough Erwin is? Getting him to talk is not going to be easy. So Lord Reese is not with them during this. It's the 4 guys. They have the little chairs stationed around old King Fritz here, who's still 3 steps above them. You know. Indeed. So I wonder if one of these 4 is going to be the one to try to take the coordinates powers. I'm curious if one of these 4 is going to be the one to try to take it. Perhaps. Do we know what information they might have learned from Pastor Nick? And then the one dude says there's no helping it. If we question too much, we'll reveal to them things they didn't know in the first place. So these guys are not dumb. They're clearly competent men. That they know strategizing. This one guy in the military coat with the bolo, he has very sunken in eyes. He looks kind of like Lurch. But yeah, so he's like, we can't question too much because if we ask them the right questions, they'll learn something that we didn't want them to know to begin with. So dude is not dumb. Interesting. Yeah. No, what they know or don't know doesn't matter. So it's what they tried to learn. That's plenty. Interesting. So he's like, well, it doesn't matter what we question him. It's the fact that they've tried to learn these things. So I like that there's this squad like reasoning what to do. And then we should deal with them to the extent of the law. So the guy in the coat is like, just as we've done until now. Huh. Interesting. And then they bring him a note. And Lord Reese says that he's captured Eren and Historia. Oh my God. So this was all Lord Reese's doings. Every bit of it. And it says there's no need for us to take action. So, interesting. So they're saying there's no need for them to do any further work. They've already got them. So, oh my gosh, I took all of Erwin's stuff. So this was Erwin's room. All of his books and everything. All his books. That's sad. That's sad they took all of Erwin's things. Not cool. So, apparently Erwin and Niall have history, which I wondered back in season 1 what their relationship was. I thought they just knew each other from the military, but apparently they've had history. Like, they grew up wanting to become scouts together, which is interesting. So I find it curious that Erwin chose the scouts and Niall chose the military police. Niall kind of reminds me of it's funny because I wonder if there's like a comparison between Armin and Jean and Erwin and Niall. I wonder if there's a comparison there. Like, if it were that Niall is the representation of what Jean would have been like if he had gone into the military police. I think some of you might have said that back in season 1. There's a comparison between Niall and Jean. Some of you may have said that. And I was just like, I don't know enough about Niall to make anything out of that. But now that we're seeing him here, I am curious if maybe that Niall is a representation of what Jean might have been like if he had gone to the military police. Like if he had gone this route. Because Niall seems to have very similar reservations that Jean did about killing those people. Right? So, and then Erwin, maybe we compare Erwin to Armin, only Erwin decided to go all in. He decided to embrace that side of him, like Levi suggesting that Armin does. Erwin embraced it. And because he embraced it, that's where he is now. So that's curious. That's very, very curious. But yeah, I find that parallel fascinating. And then Erwin's line, this tiny world is about to change. Oh, honey. It's calling back to Warrior in season 2 when Hanji and Mikasa were like, the world's not as simple and small as it once was. It's like he's looking directly into the camera and telling us. Yeah. And he has a little matchbox. But will it bring hope or despair? So that's the thing. Like this flame that he's igniting the candle. Can we trust the government with the future of humanity or not? So that's funny because he's lighting the match and he has the flame. And it's like either the flame can help create things, like if you're using it to bake or make stuff, or it can destroy things. And it's like, which are we going to use the flame to do? Is it going to be a flame of hope to give people something to represent, possibility and opportunity? Or are we going to use this flame for despair and destruction? I love it. I love it. And this idea of trusting the government with the future of humanity or not ties back to Sonus. And then I like Erwin, as the flame ignites, he says, who decides? It's like, I was thinking of Hamilton, who lives, who dies, who tells your story? It's like, yeah, the flame. And then Erwin, who decides? Who decides what the future brings? It's so interesting. So it's like, who's going to be the players in all this? Who's going to be the ones? And according to Sonus, the government and the royal family are the players. The ruling class are the players. That's how Sonus views it. So interesting. Who will you trust? I feel like Erwin gets all of the dramatic thematic lines in this show. I feel like they leave all the themes to Erwin to talk about. They're like, here, Erwin, say this dramatically and epically as only your voice actor can. But yeah, who will you trust? Who is the enemy? Call back to that season. Call back to it. And then Niall's just like, Erwin, what are you planning to do? And I love this response. He's like, I'm just going to gamble like I always do. I love the idea of Erwin as a gambler. I love it. I just want to see him in a casino now, like dressed in a suit. But yeah, Armin. And then we cut back to Armin. And I find that it is no coincidence that we went from Niall and Erwin talking about who to trust and about the future to jumping right back to Armin. And then Jean and Mikasa and them. I find it, I mean, that's no coincidence. The parallels are all there. I feel so bad for Armin. I do. I feel so bad for him because here's the thing. We commented in the last episode that Armin was the only one out of the cadets that hadn't killed anything yet. It was Armin's first kill. He hadn't killed a Titan, and his first kill was a human. Yep. So I don't blame him for crying, and Mikasa's trying to comfort him. And here's the thing. Armin said, did you go through this too? Did you go through that pain? Yeah. Pain! Title of the episode. Did you go through the pain too? Because he's just crying. He's so sad. But the thing is, Mikasa, when she killed that person, this ties, oh my God, it ties back to episode 6. It ties the girl, the girl who saw the world, I'm going to make that comment about that. The parallel there too of Eren and Mikasa killing those people and then Armin and Jean, right? Here's the thing. Eren was not hesitating to kill it. Eren had premeditated that shit. He was like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. And he killed a guy on sight without question. And the other guy, he just couldn't overpower him. And Mikasa had to kill that person to save Eren. So in Jean's case, Jean didn't want to kill her, the girl, but he went to do it anyway, and he couldn't follow through with it, and she overpowered him, just like that guy overpowered Eren. And in that moment, you have a parallel. Mikasa killed the man to save Eren. Armin killed the girl to save Jean. And in both cases, it's like Levi said, you killed them to save your comrade, because your comrade's life was more important to you than that person's. That's the thing. That's what Levi was getting at. And so it was the same for Mikasa. But I don't think Mikasa really cried about it like Armin did. She just she was so on board with Eren that I'm sure she felt sad about it, but we didn't outwardly see it really, right? We just saw later when he gave her the scarf. She was really disturbed, but her mom had also just died. So, and here's the thing too. Here's the difference with that as well. Mikasa didn't really have any hesitation killing that man because one, Eren was in trouble and she loves Eren. She wanted to save him. But two, those guys had killed her mom. So there was that added onto it too. So would things have been different if that woman had killed Eren or Historia? We don't know. Would that have made a difference? I don't know. But the parallels are still there. And Armin's saying, I'm sorry. And that ties back to Annie. God, there's so many ties back in this episode. God. So Armin killing, it ties to Mikasa killing. And it also ties to Annie. When Annie in episode 13, when she saw that body of some people said it was Marco. I don't think it was Marco because Marco had been found by Jean around the same time. So I think it was just a different Survey Corps member. We don't know. I don't know yet. Don't spoil me. But at that moment, Annie said, I'm sorry. And Reiner's the one that told her it doesn't do any good to apologize. We've just got to keep moving forward. We just have to have a funeral for them. And in this case, Levi's kind of acting as the Reiner figure and giving Armin the advice saying, you can't do anything about it now. There's blood on your hands. You're a different person. You just got to embrace it. But yeah, Armin's the one that shot her. And then they were trying to get it, but there was too many of them. And they were going after, and they went after Armin. And then Sasha and Levi saved him. And then they got away. And then, damn it, they got away. God. And Levi's like, there's 6 of them, girl. You can't go after them. You'll die. I like that it's now that we know Levi's last name and knowing that they could possibly be related, it's hilarious to me that Levi is always the one holding Mikasa back. Kind of like a sibling. But here's the thing. I don't think Levi's a sibling to her. Nah. Levi could be an uncle. He's 30 and she's what? He's 30 and she's what, 15? So there's a very good chance, but Ackerman is the name of her dad, right? Unless the dad took her mom's name, because that happens in Japan. Sometimes people take the parent's name. Okay, so if Mikasa could be Levi's niece, maybe. I don't think they're siblings, because I don't think that the mom had another kid that's 15 years older. I don't think that's the case at all. But it could be that Levi and Mikasa's mother were siblings. Could be that. And because if Levi's 15 years older than her, then the mom could have been 3 years older than Levi. Levi could be the younger sibling. And maybe there was an older sister he had, and Kenny just picked up Levi and took Kim, and maybe the sister got adopted by somebody else, or got out and got fostered by somebody else too, and then they just went their separate ways and never saw each other again. So there's a very good chance that Mikasa could be his niece, and he just doesn't realize it. I don't know. Or they could be distant cousins, something like that. They could just be related. But I find it funny that Levi's always the one holding her back and protecting her. And yeah, damn. And so then they're in the warehouse, and this conversation in the warehouse, oh my God, this was some heavy, heavy stuff with Armin. This was a heavy conversation. Just the idea of the morality of it all, right? The morality. And Levi's trying to make a joke. Does this grimy place kill your appetite? And so Sasha's keeping guard, so that's why she's not there. And so Armin asks the question. He's like, John, there's something I don't understand. And he's like, when I shot the gun to save you, I honestly thought I didn't make it in time. And oh, they have the crackers. Yeah. He's like, why was I the one who shot first? And poor Jean, I feel for Jean in this episode, because he was like, I was a coward. I couldn't do it. I hesitated because he saw the look in her eyes. And Levi just calls him out. He's like, because the other person hesitated. Levi's blunt. Levi is like, I'm not going to beat around the bush with y'all. You're in my squad. You're going to know how things work. And you're going to know these people are serious. And the thing of it is, if Eren and Historia have been captured and they've got to rescue them, they're going to have to kill people. They're going to have to. Like, they're at this point, there's no going back after this episode. This episode has established a lot of things. It's like Armin said, they're criminals now. They can't stay within the walls. They can't stay within the walls. There's no way. They're going to be hunted the rest of their life by the military police. Right? I mean, it wasn't the military police that they chased after. It was Kenny's squad. But if they go to rescue Eren and Historia from the military police, once they've handed them over to Lord Reese, then yeah, they're going to be wanted criminals at that point. What do we do with that? What do we do with that? You guys, I'm not ready for this season. I wasn't ready for this. I didn't know what I was walking into. I walked into a hornet's nest. And Jean's like, I should have done what I had to do. I'm sorry. And Armin's like, I know what it is. The person I killed, I bet they were a nice person. Which I'm like, well, maybe, Armin. They did, they were trying to kill you, so someone that was much more human than I am. And so this is the end of it. Armin saying, but it's like, Armin, she would have killed you too. So he's so hard on himself in this. And I just want to give him and Jean a hug so bad. I pulled the trigger so easily. And then Levi's like, well, you got blood on your hands now. He's like, and Levi understands what he's talking about. Levi fully understands what he's going through. But he's like, no regrets. # no regrets. Right? Armin and Jean are having regrets. And Levi's like, Levi's squad ain't got time for regrets. We don't mess with that shit. None of that. So he's like, you got blood on your hands now. You can't go back to who you were. Nope. And Mikasa's like, well, why would you say that? And he's like, embrace the new you. He's like, this is what it is. Just think if your hands were still clean, then Jean wouldn't be here right now. Yep. That's the thing. And so at first I didn't know what this guy, we're talking about him. What a callback to season 1. Holy cow. I didn't know what his little glance meant, but I think that in that moment, the merchant, he instantly understood Levi's point, and knows that Levi's kind of in the right, that in this world, this is how it is. It doesn't make it right, but that's how it is. And I think the merchant in that moment kind of got a little bit of respect for Levi and saw what he was dealing out. And so I think that helped persuade his decision later on to help them. But the shot of Armin's face, he's like, I'll tell you why you pulled the trigger, because your comrade was about to die. Yep. And then it just slowly zooming in on his face. Thanks to you getting blood on your hands, nobody in our squad ended up dead. That's the thing. None of them died because of Armin, and Levi thanks him. Poor Armin. And Jean. And then Jean brings it up. He's like, I thought it was wrong to be fighting other humans. And wrong for you to order us to do it. I like that Jean's honest. Jean bringing it up, like he doesn't hold it in, and he doesn't gossip behind the backs, behind Levi's back. He brings it up honestly to Levi. And I love that about Jean, that he's so honest. He's like, I thought what you said was wrong. And I like that they bring that up to him. I was afraid of hurting other people. And then so Jean tries to suck it up and accept what's happened and tries to blame himself and saying that because here's the thing, Jean probably feels guilty because he's seeing how much pain, roll credits, he's seeing how much pain Armin's in over this decision. So Jean has killed other Titans. He has killed before. So Jean was probably thinking, he's like, I'm the one that's wrong. If I had just stuck to my guns and did what you told me, then Armin wouldn't have had to do that for me to save my life. So Jean is trying to own up, and he feels guilty about it. And he tries to do the Mikasa thing and says, next time I'll shoot. But Levi stops him. And Levi says, I never said anything about who was right and who was wrong. He's like, nah. He's like, you may not have been wrong. And it's back to the story, back to the lesson he was giving Eren. He's like, I don't even know myself. He's like, I don't know what the right and wrong path is. He's like, are you really the one in the wrong? He's like, don't doubt yourself. I love Levi's whole shtick. He told it to Eren, and he's telling it to them. He's like, don't just blindly follow orders. You do what you think is right, but know the consequences of it, right? He's like, if you hadn't have done this, like he tells Armin, if you hadn't have killed that woman, we could have suffered a loss or more. So it's important that you did that, but I'm not saying I'm right and that you're wrong. And Jean getting that message, I think, is so intriguing that Jean and all them hear that. And so I really wonder if that callback, I feel like in this episode, Armin and Jean are going through like a transformation of their characters. Because here's the thing though, Armin was so deceptive in episode 11, in charge of season 2. He was so deceptive with Reiner and Bertolt. But to Armin, they were just words, right? The words weren't going to kill Reiner and Bertolt. They were just to deceive them long enough that they could save Eren. Armin seems like the type of person that he wants to get in and out with as little casualty as possible. In and out quickly, no casualties, just get the mission done, let's go. He's not quite like Erwin that goes all in. If people die, it's part of the game. We just go all in and gamble. Armin does not seem like a gambler. That's the thing. That's the big difference. I compare Armin and Erwin a little bit, but Erwin is a gambler. He may not know the odds, but he's willing to bet against them. Armin does not seem that comfortable risking something unless he knows it to the full extent. So there is a difference between them, which I think is interesting. So then, yeah, they go to talk to this guy. And then I can't believe it's the guy from episode, what was the episode was it? Was it episode 2? No, it was episode 4. It was Trost. Episode 4 and 5, back at Trost. Yeah, they're in Trost now. It was that guy that was blocking the road. So the big question is, this is interesting. So people were calling him boss. So this guy's been working for the military police, right? He's been working for old Lord Reese, the military police, for quite some time. So the Battle of Trost, huh? And of course we won't know for sure because he's dead now. So this guy, did we get his name? Yeah, this man once before. What did she say his name was? People were calling him boss. I want to get his name down because he did die. Demo Reeves. So old R.I.P. Demo Reeves. And then we don't know about his son, but I'll write his name down in a minute. We don't know about him yet either. So old Demo Reeves died. But yeah, so he was working back during the Trost battle. His whole carriage had blocked the way had blocked the way. So here's the thing. Was he at the time blocking that passage for the military police so it would give time for the Titans to come and eat a large portion of people? Because if you think about it, you had all of these people at Trost, all these refugees packing into Walrose, and now they have this food shortage issue. So were they trying to like kill two birds with one stone? Were they trying to like get all these people trapped so that the Titans could eat part of them, so that even though they'd have some refugees, they wouldn't have as many, so we'd get rid of that problem? But also, if he was working in the military police at the time, then this goes back to Annie, Reiner, and Bertolt being there and trying to... So I'm curious now. I am curious if they knew at the time that the coordinate was there or not. Or if they knew that the coordinate was going to show up. If they'd been told the coordinate was going to show up at Trost. If Annie, Reiner, and Bertolt thought that. Or if Eren showing up as the coordinate changed the game. And then they suddenly all three realized, shit, there's the coordinate. He's just appeared. Right? Because if... Here's the thing, too. When he turned into a Titan, I wonder if there was that... Because whenever he used the coordinate power, there was that telepathic link between all three of them. So I wonder, does Eren's transformation trigger that same reaction, that same communication, that same wavelength? Or is it only when he used the coordinate power? That's a question. But yeah, so the question is it's so funny now looking back. I have a feeling that by mid-season I'm going to have to go back and rewatch the series again just to see these opening episodes and be like, oh crap, yeah, wow. Because yeah, now I'm curious just how much the military police were really involved in Trost. Because I said back in season 1, it sounded like like the government was working with the Titans somehow. So I'm wondering how all this is... oh man, I'm so curious. I have questions. So yeah, we were just following orders the military police forced upon us, and we failed big time. So yeah, so the military police ordered them, we don't know if they ordered them back in Trost, but at least ordered them to get Historia and Eren. Me and my dumb son. And they'll make sure they die in so-called accidents, which ties back to Hanji and Levi torturing the captain, old Giselle, because they know that what the military police is capable of. That's the thing. We'll talk about the torture scene later. Trost should have collapsed by now, but it's persevered. So that's because the Reeves Company brings people and work together. So Levi does something really cool here. He establishes that you're selling yourself short, Demo, that the reason why Trost hasn't completely collapsed yet is because your company is working to keep them afloat. So you're actually part of the solution, right? So if the company was gone for good, how few would survive the winter? So he's like, it's very important that you exist. So the military police getting rid of them, it makes sense why Demo helps Levi and them, because it's establishing that one, he needs to help. Demo wants to help Levi and them because the military police are actively trying to get rid of them, and that's bad. Not only for him, but for all the people of Trost, who we assume Demo cares about. And so that seems to be one of the reasons why he teams up with Levi, just because he trusts him, and he figures the odds are better with Levi than the military police. Because the military police don't care about Demo or the Reeves Company. They just want to use him and go. But Levi seems invested in Trost and in Reeves. So Reeves is like, he tells his son like that later on. He's like, once you get a bite, you don't let go. Which is funny comparison to the Titans eating people. But he's like, I see a better future with Levi than I do with the military police. Which is ironic and sad because he ends up dying because of Kenny. So Kenny's just causing a muck. We just need to know where Eren and Historia are. And I really like the Armin and all them see Levi make this connection. That there are ways to get things without torturing people. But then sometimes you do have to torture people. We'll get to that. So yeah. And then Levi doesn't make any promises. And I like Levi's honest. He's like, I make no promises, but I can tell you that we're going to try. You can trust that we'll move towards that end. That I can't promise you it's going to happen, but we're going to try. And then, yeah. So, finally the nuisance is gone. So, they had to wait till Niall left. Interesting. They had to wait till Niall was gone. And then Hanji's like, okay, we got to run over there. She's like, Erwin! I really honestly expected Hanji and Moblit's infiltration to be a lot more covert And that just goes to show you that the military police, it's like they just barge in as soon as the military police like gets out of sight. It's not like, meanwhile, Levi's squad is messing with Kenny, and apparently they've communicated with Hanji since then, though, because Hanji's learned that 3 of her members have died and that Eren and Historia have been kidnapped. So they made some kind of communication since then. But it's like Levi's squad is like having all this crazy stuff and like mystery, intrigue, strategy. Hanji and Moblet just like burst in as soon as they walk away. It's like... So I thought it'd be much more of a big deal for them to get to Erwin, but it wasn't. So that's good. Glad we didn't waste time on that. And then Erwin fiddling with his shirt there. Okay, there's 2 things. First, that Eren and Historia were abducted, and Erwin's like, well, shit, what? And 3 on my team were killed too. I'm planning to meet up with Levi and see if we can hunt down their location. But the other thing is the conversation. Eren remembered a conversation between Ymir and Bertolt, but... And she's like, if this is true, my head's gonna explode. And I'm like, girl, she's experiencing episode 10 like the rest of us. It's like Hanji is our audience equivalent. Her head's gonna blow just like all of ours because it's too much info. It's too much information. And he's like, calm down. Or Moblet says, calm down. And she like instantly drinks the water. If we don't rescue him quick, Eren will get eaten. And Erwin's like, excuse me? So again, I'm thinking the powers of the Titan shifters transfer by somebody eating them. So the question that arises is the king gonna try to eat Eren? Or here's my question. 1, I have multiple questions. 1, do you have to be a Titan to eat a Titan shifter and gain their power? Do you have to be in Titan form for it to work? Do you have to be in a Titan form for it to work? That's question 1. Or can you be a human and you eat a Titan shifter and gain their power that way? Either one of the 2. Because if you just have to be a human to eat a Titan shifter, that's gross and creepy. But at the same time, but no, you'd have to be a Titan because they eat them whole, right? It goes back to the season 2 ED where it's like the little girls eating on the corpse. So, but maybe because the little girls ate on the corpse, did they all become Titan shifters? After eating, was that the king and they all ate the blood of the king and the 3 girls like gained the powers of the king? Was the king a Titan? Again, so maybe my first question is, do you or do you not have to be a Titan to eat a Titan shifter and gain their abilities? Because if you don't have to be a Titan, then that's really bad because anybody can eat him and gain the coordinates powers. My other question is, can a Titan shifter that already has an ability eat Eren and gain another ability on top of it? So if Annie ate Eren, would she gain his ability to be the coordinate on top of her own with the skin hardening? Is that a thing? So I feel like we're going to get answers to those questions, but then that begs the question, why? I'm gonna have to bring that dry erase board out, aren't I? I'm gonna have to bring that damn dry erase board out. I'm gonna have to bring it out. Okay, we'll get to that. Okay, we'll get to that. I gotta think about it. So again, the merchants sell out Saunas and the other guy. They bring them there to get tortured, and they end up stopping right by the house that they originally were at, right in episode 1. And then they knock him out with the gun. Yep. And Mika says, so they don't kill him, they knock him out. And the merchant's like, sorry, dudes. Uh-huh. And they let him go. And so they go back to the old house he's like, there's no guarantee, but they have better odds trusting them. A merchant has to follow his nose, which mine stopped up at the moment. Not just to spell easy money, but to sniff out profit awaiting in the future. I love that. I love it. Once you find it, you bite and you don't let go. Remember that. So I wonder if the son escapes. And then Hanji, this whole episode, Hanji has bursted into the scene and she like bursted and tell Erwin, she's like, Erwin! And then she's like, sorry I'm late. It's like Hanji has been bursting onto the scene and Moblet's just quietly walking behind like she's been on a high ever since we left Erwin's. Moblet is long suffering. I don't want him to die. And then Levi, I'm pretty new to this. Saunas, you should also know I'm a novice at human torture, so please bear with me. I mean, she's used to torturing Titans, though. Uh-huh. Who the hell tortures without asking questions? And Levi's even got some, like, I love that Levi has the apron and the gloves because he doesn't want to get blood on him. And Hanji does not. So they want to know the Reese family, everything about it. And then the guy screaming. And then we cut back to all of our crew, the Levi squad, hearing the screams of him being tortured. And Armin looks so... Armin and Connie especially. Yeah. Even though I know it's to save them, it makes me sick. And then Armin's like, we're criminals now, basically. It's like, the enemies that we're fighting, we're not trying to kill them because they're trying to eat us. Nah, it's because our views are different. No, it's just the group they belong to. But at the same time, I'm like, Armin, and I'm hoping somebody makes this comparison to him at some point in the series. I hope Armin figures it out. I'm like, Armin, you're smart. You can figure this out. What you're describing is the exact same thing with the Titans. It's the exact same thing because we've established the Titans are human. So, or they at least have been human. So what you're describing, it's not just that we're fighting an enemy trying to eat us. It's an enemy that has a different viewpoint and it's just the group they belong to. Yeah, the putty Titans, they're trying to eat them. Sure, absolutely, you're right. That would be a cause for self-defense because you're defending yourselves from being eaten. But Reiner and Bertolt weren't trying to eat you. They're not trying to eat you. Annie wasn't trying to eat those soldiers back in episodes 17 through 21, but she still killed them. But she still killed them all. And you could argue it's in self-defense, but when you have two sides fighting like that, it's over their views. It's over the groups they belong to. It's a touch different because none of the humans are trying to actively eat them, but it's still connecting back to the same theme. So I'm waiting for Armin to make the connection with the Titans and all of this. And I'm wondering if as we get to learn more of the truth about this whole deal, about how the government's involved, and I want Armin to learn the truth about the government too, because I want Armin to learn the truth about the government too, because I think that he'll make the connection that this whole thing is we've got humanity and it's divided into sects. You've got Titandom. It's like it's all divided into different pieces and they're all fighting for their own values and ideals. It's you're all not too different, you know. But obviously, I mean, there are differences, but you all know what I mean. And then Mikasa tries to like connect to him, but Armin, all of us, we're not good people anymore. And that ties back to what he talked to with Annie. So I also wonder, I really want Armin and Annie to have a conversation. I want Armin and Annie to talk about not being a good person anymore. Because that's connecting back to Armin talking to Annie about... Annie asked, she's like, do you think I'm a good person? And Armin said yes. And that's kind of why Annie spared him and felt sorry for him and connected with him, because she's like, you think I'm a good person? Even though I've done all these bad things? It connects back to how Bertolt felt. He's like, well, I just want somebody to save us. We've done these bad things. But I swear we're not, on the inside, we're not much different than y'all. So... God, I've never wanted Armin to have a conversation with Bertolt and Annie and Reiner so badly than I do now. Especially Annie. I just want Armin and Annie to talk about being a good person and what that entails. Because that's just, that line, it just sets up so much. And I'm like, but Armin, what do you define it? How do you define good? And then, this old Sonus, they like broke his nose, peeled his nails. And then Sonus goes back to, she's like, how many nails have you peeled? And Sonus says, too many to count. So, within these cramped walls, do you know why war has never broken out? And then we're getting to this. Because the first Interior Squad dirtied our hands to protect the peace. So this is getting into the real stuff here. Yeah, and Moblet's holding the chair back. I was like, who's holding the chair? It's Moblet. And I love that in this one frame, in the tiniest corner, there's Moblet and Sonus and Hanji and Levi just kind of illuminated by that one little light, and there's the door and the rest is all in darkness. I love that shot. That cinematography is so gorgeous. And then we get the images of a teacher too smart for their own good. So here's the thing, a teacher too smart for his own good. The teacher, here's the thing, that teacher in the shot that it looks like they're going to brand him, that the friend is convincing Sana to do it. That teacher looks like the guy that was with Erwin in the OP. That's who it looks like. It looks like the guy in the OP that's with Erwin. So, what did Erwin learn from that man? The teacher who was too smart for their own good. What did Erwin learn from him? There has to be a connection, right? There has to be a reason. A stupid couple who tried to fly. So, the stupid couple who tried to fly, like, was that Armin's parents? Were they somebody else? Like, with the hot air balloon? Who were they? And then a whore. A whore from some ranch in the sticks. Oh my God. And that's Historia. Oh my God. And those guys in the trench coats with the hat. Those guys in the trench coat with the hat. That's what Kenny had, the trench coat. Oh my God. And they all have the hats on and the trench coats like they're in disguise. So here's the question, and that ties back to Kitty. That ties back to Kitty because Kitty taking in Levi. My throat is dry. My throat is dry from all the drainage. Oh my God. That is tying to Kitty in that outfit in the OP with the hat, and he kept the hat. But then why did Kitty go to killing military police? Is it because Kitty saw all the bad things that they were doing and he couldn't take it anymore, and so he went rogue? Is that it? And now he's just, oh God, I'm going to lose my voice. No, I've been talking for an hour and a half. But, okay, so, oh God. Or it's been an hour, the episode's included. But, okay, so Kenny was in that group with those guys. They ran into Historia. Is that Historia's mom that's with her that they killed and tried to take her? Oh my God. So Kenny has probably a bigger role in all of this than we think, but Historia has a book. What's the book that Historia has? That girl with the blonde hair, that has to be Historia. It's out in the sticks. The OP and the ED have established that Historia's out in the middle of nowhere. So why did Kenny go rogue if he was part of this military police group? Why did he start killing military police? At what point in the timeline did he run into Levi? What does that have to do with anything? So is the military police involved in Levi too? What the hell? Oh my God, y'all, I don't even know. But yeah, humanity has only made it this far because we erased them. So you should be thanking us. I've never seen anyone get more pleasure out of torture than you guys. You're monsters. And the funny thing is that they're like, well, we've seen the Titans, who are literal monsters. So we're like, you don't even, it's all a matter of perspective. So you have Levi and Hanji, who have seen literal monsters and know what's at stake, and have seen their friends and family eaten and know what's at stake. And then you have Sonis, who has been trying to maintain the peace inside the walls by doing whatever the government told him to do, even if it was killing people. Oh my God. Holy crap. And so yeah, so you have all these different perspectives. This show just gets more and more complicated, and I love it more and more. My brain, y'all, my brain. Okay. So I'm not even afraid. Yeah, he's like, I have the king, and I believe the king and the peace in the walls. Damn. So he's on board the King Fritz train, and he's like, this is how we'll maintain peace, is by doing whatever he says. To think that it hurts this much. Damn. And he's like, go ahead and torture me to death. I'm not going to talk. Man. And so he's thinking that he's not going to talk and that he'll die, and that'll be like the end of his blood-stained life. And Levi's like, you know what? This is getting nowhere. We're going to try plan B. Plan B. And then Hanji's like, I'm beginning to feel sorry for him. But, man. And so this is the crazy thing. What's genius about this scene is that they go outside and they get his buddy, And they basically force him to read, and they basically they make up a lie. They lie. They do the exact thing Armin did to Bertolt and Reiner. They lied. They made up the lie, calling him pathetic and saying it took one nail to make him talk. And then Sonus is like, excuse me? And they compare him to Sonus, and it's all a ruse because they know he's within earshot, and they make him read off the paper saying, like I care, that was his decision. The guy never shuts up about peace and the king. The rest of us hate him. And I wish there was a favor and kill him already. And that betrayal, that is some straight up Armin deception only times 10. That is so cruel. And they are like, have the knife to his heart, saying, we're not going to let it happen. Oh my God, they make him say it. Oh my God. That's like, if we can't physically torture you and make you lose spirit, we're going to mentally and spiritually break you. And then you'll lose spirit. And you tell it's effective because he completely like gave up. Because God, that's so good. Oh, that's terrifying. Hanji and Levi, what a terrifying duo. And to think back 2 episodes ago, back in the recap, I was like, Hanji and Levi, I'm gonna bump them down to A rank. Maybe they'll get back up in S rank. Jesus. We're already getting so much with them. And then he says, Reese is the true royal family. Of course they are. Of course they are. They're the true royal family. Interesting. And then Erwin looking out the window. Like, I'm so intrigued what Erwin's going to do. I'm so intrigued. So we don't know exactly where they are. I'm assuming that they're in Trost. No, they're still in Trost because this is where Demo is. Flegel. We don't know about Flegel, the son. We don't know about him yet. I'm assuming he's going to die because Kenny probably going to let him live. But he went over to pee. And then, Kenny came over to kill him. But damn. Oh my God. And he has the suit and everything. Was it wise not to ask him where Levi was? He'll show up even if we do nothing because I raised him. Oh my God. Levi Ackerman is just that kind of guy. And he has the military police thing on too. Damn it. God, so much. And then, okay, Flegel. So Flegel did live. So maybe Flegel will tell them what's going on. Okay, so Flegel did live. All right. So far, Flegel is alive. It's just Hanji's other squad member and Demo. The true royal successor is Historia. Okay. So, in other words, both Eren and Historia are likely wherever Rod Reese is. So, Fritz is not the real king. It's the Reese family. Why would you hide that? I guess because they were tying back to the whole thing about the blood of the king. And you wouldn't just want anybody to know that. So, but why? I have so many questions. So why? I'm assuming, The question then is, does the royal family, does Fritz know that Reese is the royal family? For sure. But they have to because the military police knows. If the military police knows, then the royal family knows because that's who told the military police. So of course they know. But why keep it hidden? I guess in case if somebody comes to murder Fritz, it's not actually the blood of the king that's getting spilled. It's somebody else. And then, So, where'd they get this drawing from? That's him. And he has Historia's eyes. And she's probably never seen this man in her life. He says, I'm sorry for everything. But... And then Eren's still tied up and knocked out. And he's got like the muzzle, like the Nezuko muzzle over his mouth. So he can't bite his hand. Okay. Damn it. So I'm getting very big Annie vibes, Annie dad vibes from old Lord Reese here. When Annie's dad was like, I'm so sorry for everything. And Annie was like freaked out. I'm getting the exact same vibes that Historia's having with her dad that Annie did with hers. So... oh my God. Oh my God. So bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. Okay. so there's a it's It's only episode 2 and I'm bringing out the whiteboard, so this is not a good sign. This is actually a terrible sign. This is a terrible sign that things are going to be awful the rest of the series. So, so we have King Fritz. Okay, I've got to break this down a little bit. We've got King Fritz, who is actually not the king. Or is he? Or is Fritz related to them? We don't know I'm assuming Fritz is his last name, so he's not the king. But then, so we have Lord Reese over here. Rod Reese. You know names that just strike you weird? Rod's a weird name. I don't like that name. So it's odd that so we have Rod Reese and Historia. Right? So they're the actual royal family. All right? And she's supposedly some kind of vessel. Whatevs. And then you have Eren over here, who is the coordinate. And somebody is planning on eating Eren to get that power. Okay. So the question is, where does this whole vessel come in? A vessel is something that holds something. So, oh God. This is a train wreck. So okay, a vessel is something that holds something. So, I'm like, could they want Historia to eat Eren? So that she gains the power? Is it something like you put a power in a jar and it's... Because you have the whole idea of the blood of the king, right? And the blood of the king is tying to immortality. And with Ymir's case, they kept saying that the people would be immortal as long as they had the blood of the king behind them. So I don't know exactly what that means. Unless it was saying that if you got blood of the king, you could... I guess were they planning to do because they were all dressed up in robes and everything. I'm like, did Ymir not realize they were planning to do a mass sacrifice and sacrifice her to the village to they were all gonna eat her and they would become Titans and gain immortality? Is that what was really gonna happen? And then when the military police came in, they're like, oh, is this really what's going down? And Ymir's like, yes. And then she was lying. So, the question I still have is the people that took in Ymir's, because I've waffled back and forth on this. Either the people, the soldiers that came and got Ymir and the others back in episode 10, either they were within the Wall Kingdom and they were the government back then trying to get rid of people that were imitating and saying, they're trying to denounce anybody that said they were the king that weren't, and they were maybe looking for a vessel. Maybe that was the thing. They were looking for the vessel and they just couldn't find it. Or were they from the Titan Kingdom? That's the only thing. I don't know where Ymir's flashback took place at. And don't spoil me. Don't tell me. We don't know where Ymir's flashback took place at. So we don't know if the blood of the king applied to the Titan Kingdom or if it applies to within the walls. I want to say it applies to within the walls. But then that doesn't make sense with the Titan Kingdom. So there's still something missing. Something's missing. But, so I'm like, are they going to turn Historia into a Titan to have her eat Eren? Is that what they're planning? So that she can gain the power of the coordinate and be a vessel for it? But in that sense, all Titans are vessels. So that doesn't make sense. My other thought was, and this is a really creepy thought, but I mean, the other thought of a vessel is that it's possessed by something, but there's no supernatural that we know of possession that goes on in this series. It's not like a ghost or a demon is going to possess her. That doesn't seem right. We've not really had a demonic presence unless you consider the Titans to be that. We haven't really had that, so I don't think it's that. There's not angels and demons. Although in the Sudden Visitor OVA, Historia did look like a big angel when she bit her hand and turned into a Titan. So, yeah, my dog is like, please play with me. Okay, but here's the other thing, and this is what I talked about earlier in the reaction. And this is creepy, but are they wanting to get, if Eren has the power? We've talked about does the power transfer? I'm like, do they want her and Eren to shack up and her have Eren's baby? That'd be creepy and wrong. They're 15. No, I'm like a vessel. But then but then why? Why would you do that? Was that Titan babies? What's happening? So the blood of the king. The blood of the king is important, obviously, because Ymir's people were killed over it. And they've hid the royal family from sight, saying they're just common noblemen because they want to keep them safe from assassins or something like that. So Fritz is playing king. So why is the blood of the king important? Why is the royal family important? Unless they have some connection to the Titans. We just don't know what yet. But I don't like the implications. I want Historia to get out of there. I want Ymir to rescue her because I don't like the implications of this at all. But so the question is, who would eat Eren if not Historia? You have the green jacket guy. That has the bowl cut and the sunken in eyes. The one that was basically like, they know what questions they've asked. Let's just punish them all now. He seems the scariest. You have the military jacket guy. Then you have the guy with the lapels and like the ropes across him. That was pretty smart. You have lapels guy. Then you have the guy with the handkerchief that hasn't said much. He's been the quietest. And then you have the church man, which I don't think it'd be the church man. He's out. I don't think it's handkerchief man. So I think if anybody was going to eat Eren out of those four, it'd probably be the guy in the military jacket. He seems the most likely to be a Titan shifter out of all of them. At this point, it's very easy to say that there could be Titan shifters inside. So then that begs the question. Why are Bertolt and Reiner trying to destroy humanity? Why are they trying to shake things up? What's the deal? If the government is involved in this and they know about the existence of Titans, and they have known about the existence of Titans, they know about the coordinate, they know about this vessel, they know about the power of the Titans, what's the deal? Why are the outside Titans trying to get in? What's happening? Did they turn people into Titans and shove them out into the outside world and say, go end up living or dying or whatever, and the Titans were like, screw y'all, we're coming back in, we want to reclaim our homeland? Is that what... I don't know, y'all. Something's amuck. I'm wondering if something is amuck. Something happened way back when the Titans first appeared. Something happened. It's got to do with that damn Aurora Borealis. Something happened. And it caused a big problem. And now they've been spending hundreds of years doing damage control. And it's all, I don't know enough. There's pieces of the puzzle missing. I feel like this episode we got like a big chunk of the puzzle just thrown in our lap. And it's like, okay, here's a bunch of pieces. Start putting them together because it's all gonna add up. And I'm just the vessel thing disturbs me. I don't like Historia being labeled as a vessel. I don't like that at all. I do not like it. I don't like the implications. But I'm like, I don't want Historia to get hurt, and I don't want anybody else to get hurt, but glad I got this whiteboard. So yeah, I don't know where we're going from here. Obviously they want to rescue Eren and Historia, but I don't know our time frame. Like it's still the middle of the night, so I'm like, what's our time frame look like? Like, how long do they have to get before Eren? They're on a time clock because Eren and them are about to get eaten. Or Eren apparently is about to get eaten and his power taken away. So we're on a time clock. So what's going to happen? I want to know the connection between the man in the glasses, the OP, and Erwin. He's clearly somebody that was too smart for his own good and knew too much. What did he tell Erwin? What is the significance of Kenny? How is Kenny connected to the military police? Why was Kenny out by where Historia was, presumably? Was Historia near where Levi was? What's the connection there? You know what? The woman in the OP that was with Historia had black hair. Is she related to Levi and them? Is there a connection there? What the heck? At this point, it's like a free-for-all. Like, theories are, it's an all hands on deck theory thing, and I don't know what to think about it. Oh my god. But yeah, all these guys introduce these characters. The idea of Kenny and his relationship with Levi. There's some connection to Historia. We're going to hopefully get Historia backstory, Levi backstory, Erwin backstory. Oh my god, there's so much that this season has yet to do, and this episode gave us so much. But it's a turning point, definitely, for our new Levi squad. It's a turning point because Armin is realizing what him and Jean and them are going to have to do to save Eren and Historia. They're realizing the links they're going to have to go to. And this was like just a taste of what they're going to have to do. And it's like, are they comfortable with that? And it seems like they know they have to save Eren and Historia, so they're going to do it, but they're not happy about it. And I don't blame them. So, damn. This episode. I've talked for this episode as much as I talked about episode 11, Charge. Y'all were like, oh, your discussions are gonna get to be where they're 3 hours long. I'm like, don't you dare say that. Hopefully not. But God, I watched this the night after episode 1. I was on an adrenaline high, and I was like, I'm just gonna dive right into it. And now I'm regretting that decision. No regrets, but I am regretting waiting so little time because now I need to let this episode soak in. I need to let this episode soak in and everything with it because this was a lot. So yeah, I don't know how I'm picking a thumbnail. Probably gonna poll Patreon. But in the meantime, I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. Please do not spoil me or tag spoilers if you don't want me to read it. But yeah, I'm really curious to know your thoughts. And so I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and I'm going to drink some more tea. Hopefully in the next few days my sinus drainage goes away. I'm going to drink some more tea and then come back for episode 3 of season 3 of Attack on Titan. Bye.